there are some good rules to go by in KCDW whenever you want to save a job. And that would be whenever you get to a point where you wouldn't want to lose the time that you spent on designing a job, it's a good time to save the job. I think that's about every 10 or 15 minutes. The way that you can do that in an easy fashion is just to click on Add Wall. Let's put something on this job first, maybe a couple of top units, or a base cabinet below. And let's just say, for argument's sake, we're done with this design, or we want to save it. At that point, you can come over here, and you'll notice there's a Save Job with Existing Name. There's an open job over here, but Save Job with Existing Name, when you first design your job and you haven't given it a name yet, when you click on that, you'll notice that file name comes up blank. Well, you want to give it a job name. The job name should be something short, something that makes sense to you that you'll associate with that job. It could be a lot, building lot number, it could be a builder's name, could be the last name of the customer, but make sure it's something you'll remember. Now, let's say it was the Adams, the last name of the customer. Let's call him Adams, and we'll just save this job. Now, you'll notice up here it tells you what the job name is. Now, at any point you see the name of your job up there, you know at any point you could save it with that existing name without having to retype it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a couple of other units up here at this point. Maybe put another base cabinet, maybe a 3-drawer base. And it really doesn't matter what we put up. Now, let's say we want to save this again. Well, instead of having to type that again, we could just come up to this button where it says Save Job with Existing Name and click on it. And now it just saved it with that new change. Now, if I were to go to File and Start a New Job, which brings us to a totally blank screen, when I want to go to open a job, I could come over here, click on Open Job. You'll notice in my recent list there's Adams. It is also up here in my other list, but I'm going to click on this right here, double click, and it will bring up that particular job. I'm looking straight at it. Now, there are going to be times where you want to add things to the job when you're not quite done, or the customer, let's say, wants you to do some other things to that job. They want different variations, different ideas. Well, you don't necessarily want to keep the same name job. You might want to have 3 or 4 job names with different ways that the design could look. And the way you would do that would be, first of all, to put the changes in that are different on this particular one. Let's put an island over here. And I'm just going to go to a base cabinet and put a base cabinet in here. Click OK. Now, once again, okay, there's an island in here. And I can put that wherever I want. But let's say that's one of the versions of the design they want. Well, at that point, we don't want to save it with the existing name because the one without the island may be a design you might want as a choice. So the way you would do this is go to File, and you'll see where it says Save Job As. Well, when you click on Save Job As, it comes up with the name. Well, maybe we could click over here and just say, well, this is the second version of it, so we'll go 2. And we'll go Save. Now, it has a 2 on it. Now, this way we still have the Adams job. We have Adams 2. And we could have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, onward. Now, the customer will eventually decide which one they ultimately want. So, at the time that they decide which version of the job they want, well, at that point, maybe they go back to the Adams job. You want to make sure you get back to that job. You'll notice there's the Adams job, still the way we had it before. And now, we might want to go to File and go to Job Heading right here. And this is just something I like to do. And maybe we want to just put the word after Adams, maybe the word Final. And this prints out in the upper right corner of every page that you print out. So that way, anybody who gets a design from this job, parts list, pricing, elevations, well, the name should be Final to the right. And they shouldn't be doing anything with that job if it doesn't say Final. Now, one last thing I'm going to point out is that you noticed over here under File, we had Save Job As, Save Job. There's a bunch of choices here. In some cases, on our toolbar, we might not have something over here to choose from. Well, if that's the case, there's not something here that you don't see down here, we can always come over to here on More Tools, and you're going to find there is Save Job with a new name. Okay, so I could click on that. And now I'm going to click yes, I'm going to overwrite that. But it's going to give me that button over here now. Whereas before, I didn't have that. So once again, sometimes the program, depending on the toolbar, how it's set up, you can add or remove tools from this list here. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, you can always go up to File and you can find what you want to save your job as up in here.